What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mitchell, and today I'm going to be talking about what is the strongest course of action. So, I do these YouTube lives every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you guys find this video content of value, you guys could show your appreciation by donating any amount that you feel is equal to the value of this video. Details will be in the description. And if you're here, please hit that like and subscribe button. It'll help me out a lot. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it on a comment below on a post, and then I'll read it and respond to it. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about a recap, which is cool, calm, and collected. And that is one of my other episodes that I have on YouTube. And then I will have about four and a half slides that I will be talking about today about what is the strongest course of action. And the reason why I'm going to be talking about this episode today, or on this YouTube or this podcast, is because usually when we're conflicting with our emotions on what is my emotions feeling and what is the best choice, and usually when we choose the choice based off emotions, it's usually not the right choice, and when we do that, it causes other people to react in a certain way. And if you're not emotionally centered and you're easily perturbed and bothered, it's always going to draw you back into this realm. And if you're watching me and you're a regular watching this and you're used to watching these type of shows, then a lot of this is geared towards on consistency and how you could stay there more permanently versus always needing to find a way back, right? So having being emotionally centered is really, really important. So my recap is going to be on, thank you for the likes, appreciate it. And here it is, cool, calm, and collected. Okay, so, and I spoke about this earlier too. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Chevelin. And I, I talked about this before, but I'll say it again. Women are like the weather, and the sun will always shine. And from time to time, the clouds will get in the way. And at this point, and at that very moment, men, you have two options. You have two options. And this is what happens. Your next decision could be your biggest turn on for her or her biggest turn off. And depending on that, this is how what most men will operate in. And at that point, most men panic, they get upset, they might start yelling, they might start becoming very needy, very aggressive, whether it's with their words or whatever it is, they're gonna act out of compulsion. And that's usually coming from a place of desperation, and nobody wants someone that's very desperate or needy. So it doesn't serve you any good to be at that place. Now, anyways, we're trying to change something and have no control over it. So, like the weather, people will try, like men, they will try to change something that will not ever, they can't change. It's like you can't change the seasons, you can't change the weather, right? And what happens after morning? It becomes night. And like how it's always been, it's always gonna be like the seasons. And sometimes it might be a little bit longer, and sometimes it might be a little bit shorter, but you can't change what you can't change. But what you can change is yourself. All right? And and the rainbow will shine too after the rain. Absolutely, exactly, Chevelin. And been good. Oh no. Yeah. Sarah, relax, chill, smile, watch me and Charizard spin around, right? But anyways, now the next option, which is the better option for men, is to be to learn, okay? To educate themselves, to not be bothered by circumstances and why she's upset. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Maybe she's just having a good. Maybe she's just having a bad day. But guess what? She will come back. And when she comes back, don't act passive aggressive, because that's the last thing she needs is another guy that she always had, always upset, always finding a way to be like, oh, how come you don't do it? Let's say, no, like, you're a guy, focus on what you need to do, and you're not bothered by the circumstances based off her reaction. Like her reaction should not bother you. It's like, oh well, she's not feeling well. All right, then you talk to her, you communicate, and if she's acting in a way where she's, you know, kind of aggressive, you be like, look, you know what, I'm not feeling this, so I'm gonna come back, and when you know when you want to talk like adults, then then I'll listen, and then at that place, then she could at least respect you, and if she doesn't respect you, she's not gonna love you. So you're gonna have to need a woman to respect you, or at least want a woman to respect you. All right. So what, and this is what usually happens, and when you allow her to be in this place a day. Yeah, absolutely. So because you're the rock in the relationship, right? Men, you're the rock in her relationship, and this is why it's like, well, then if you're teaching about men, then how should a woman act too? Well, a woman should act just as she is, but also she needs to be in a place where she's not overly reactive, right? She's not making your life more difficult. When she's there, she's gonna be your biggest cheerleader. You want to complement each other. You want to lift each other up, not always be in competition with each other. So when I get it. Women are emotional creatures, but because they are, she needs to at least be able to understand from that guy's perspective. I still remember when Justin was talking about this. Is she went to Starbucks and she was like, I don't get it. You know, my husband, he's and this is a customer. She walks in and she was like, I don't get it. My husband, he's a very hard worker. He tries his best, but blah 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 blah. But for some reason, I still, and here's the key word. She said, I still feel like blah 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 is missing. I still like, for her to even articulate that type of word in her mind like that, she surpassed, like, that's not something I hear from most women at all. There's like, no, this is how I feel, this is how I feel, this is how I feel. But she's trying to put logic into how she feels, which it gave me a lot of hope. And it gave a lot of hope to, because you want a good woman in your life. You don't want a woman that's always nagging. You don't want to be that person that always like nags and nags. Like, that's the last thing a guy wants. But also, the guy needs to know how to act too at the same time, because that's when both of you guys are complete, and that's how you meet up, and this is how you're going to have a nice relationship, a happy, healthy relationship where there's no drama and you're not worried about talking about other people. But anyways, today's topic is how what is the strongest course of action, and that's usually coming from a place of, okay, what do I know? What I know. And if I know it, this is how I'm going to act, because at that point, you're not guessing. You're not second guessing anything anymore. You already know what you need to do. It's just that you know it's going to take time. Okay? So anyways, the first slide that I'm going to be talking about is, you guys heard it before, but I want to remind you guys again, which is, you are not your past. And your past does not define you. You define who you are. Okay? So just remember that. If you define your past like, oh, this is how I was raised, this is how I am the action. Okay, okay, Sarah. You got some moves? You got you got some hip movements? Anyways, your past does not define you. You define yourself, okay? So it has to be from you. And here's the great thing, you're not a tree. You're not a tree. You're not a tree. You get to move, right? If you feel like, look, I don't want to be in New York anymore and I want to move to California, you could do that. If you're in Canada and you're like, you know what? I want to change in scenery and I want to go to California. Well, guess what? You're not a tree. So you could come here. You could pack things up and go, right? Trees, they can't really do that. So it's kind of unfortunate. Anyways, so you get to choose the life that you want to live. Okay? So does this mean you have some things to clean up before you start moving forward? Yes, absolutely, because you have to participate in your own rescue. I want to, but expensive AF. Yeah, but it's not I want to, it's how can I, right? You got to change that. the sentence a little bit. How can I do this? How can I afford to live in California if you desire to live in California? Okay. So, yes, doesn't mean you have to start cleaning some of the things that you've been lacking in. Yeah, because, through your entire life, like, you have to remember, like, no matter where you are at in life, everything that you've been doing in the past, it's not always correct. Maybe you had some good role models and you did some right things, and that's great, but no one's perfect. So we all have to start somewhere. And wherever you are at in life, and this is wherever you're starting, well, guess what? Start somewhere. You're not in competition with anybody else but yourself. Okay. And the competition is, you want to take life, you don't want to take life too seriously, but you want to take yourself and what you do seriously, so that you can move towards something, because you want to become better, right? Little steps, little baby steps. And the best advice is to write things down. And because when you write things down, and especially in the morning, and you write it and then you review it at night, you get to reflect on it. You get to constantly think about it. And you get to always focus on what you look at, and what you focus on and what you look at expands too. And so that's the beauty of it. But and the same goes to always thinking about how life sucks. If you always look at things of, why does this always happen to me? Life sucks. It's never going to be like this. This is the way I'm going to live. Well, that's how your life is going to be, in direct proportion to how you view yourself. So you have to choose that yourself. No one could choose it for you, but you could be educated. And when you educate yourself, it's very freeing. It's very freeing, right? So write it down, okay? This is how you can focus. And the good thing about this is, if you're already watching this, you're looking into becoming a better version of yourself. So you're already moving forward as you're listening to this. But also, I do need to say this, and you might not like this, but you guys heard it already, which is, you have to apply the actions. You have to apply it. You just can't listen to quotes. You could listen to a million quotes. I could give you everything. If you do nothing with it, you're not gonna get anywhere. And then this is where most people say it won't work. Oh, it doesn't work. Why didn't it work? Yeah, well, I even heard someone that went to Tony Robbins' event, which I would love to go, but can't afford that right now. But he was like, "Yo, it just it's not for me. It doesn't really work." I was like, "Did you even?" So I had questions. I was like, "So did you apply?" Yeah, I did. Oh, okay. So how long? And you know what? Basically, it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it, or you give it back to Tony, right? And I was like, you didn't even try hard enough. So to say it doesn't work, yes, maybe it's because you didn't do anything with it. Just like a muscle. It's like, yeah, you never train yourself. Anyways, moving forward, whatever life means to you, and you're accountable for your own actions. So especially if you have kids, if you have kids, you want to be someone that they look up to, someone that they could, when they get older, like, oh, my mom or my dad taught me that this is how I should always be, X, Y, and Z. And I got that from Annie too. She was like, yeah, my mom always says to always be presentable, which is great. Always be presentable, right? And that's something that she held on to. So what's something that your parents, or someone, or your guardian, or someone that was watching you, that has taught you, that you carried on for yourself, that made you, like, you held it down, where you never let that go. So that's part of your values. Like, you will not let that go. So what's one of those things? And here's the thing too. Once you become better, and if you become better in what you do, they have a better chance of success. And I have never heard of a parent that didn't want what's best for the kids. I mean, I've heard horrible stories where, they might have, like, given the kid up, or whatever. But I think I think I'm not a father, but I think that you will want what's best for them. Now, if you can't even build yourself up, then obviously there's those, what you would call sacrifices. right? Because you can't give what you don't have. And if you don't have it, you're willing to give anything up, even your kids. So, that's on the other end of the spectrum. But I'm saying this, like, you want to be the best role model for them, because then when they get older, they have a better chance of success, because were you were improving yourself. And that's a great thing about us too, is we always have a choice to act on whether or not we want to become better or not. Okay? So you want to be the biggest role model. And funny thing is, a lot of people look at role models as celebrities because they have a lot of status, a lot of fame, a lot of money, someone to look up to because they have, you know, X, Y, and Z. But even so, even if you think they have everything, no one's perfect, right? And current events, which is not so current anymore, which is Will Smith, he didn't. Yeah, look at him. Look at him, right? He has a lot of things that's ruling over him right now, and it's because he focused on a lot of he's great at what he does when it comes to acting, but look at what it cost him. He neglected certain areas of his life, which got him to do what he did, and his action shows. So you can always just judge a person by what they do, not what they say they'll do. Okay. And here's the great thing: by not defining who you are from your past, you're giving yourself a choice to move forward. And like I said, if you love yourself, you would give yourself a chance to move forward and become a better version of yourself. So, whatever it is, wherever you're at now, like, know your why, know why you do it. So those are your values, and once you have your values, your goals will be way more meaningful. And once you get there, you're going to enjoy that process, and you're like, ooh, what else can I do? What else? What else? What else? It's it doesn't stop, and that's the great thing about it, is no matter where you are at in life, it's you can always find a way to improve. um Forward movement doesn't happen by chance, right? It's by change. So no one's going to save you, so you must participate in your own rescue. So whatever it is that you want to be at in life, whether it's losing 5 pounds or making X amount or become more mentally stable, or I always find myself always getting angry easily. So how do I not be so angry? And it's really digging deep within yourself. And what I liked about what Julian was talking about is he separated from what your conscious mind is thinking, which is like 10%, and like the 90% is your subconscious. And so the beauty of conscious and subconscious is you want to make your subconscious work with your conscious mind, because what usually happens is you go home and you distract yourself with a million things, whether it's listening to music, putting on Netflix, whatever, right? Playing with your phone, there's a video game, whatever. But if you sit with yourself in silence and you actually listen to yourself, what are you constantly telling yourself? And is your subconscious mind working with alignment of your conscious mind? And if it's not, then you gotta really dig in, like, why. So a lot of people that have certain fears, it's because they've been running away from it. And whatever you're running away from, you're actually keeping that alive even more. So you want to make sure, as you're not running away from it, but you're actually turning around and actually moving towards what you were fearing, so that you can actually understand why you're like that. And then facing that fear. And usually that fear is not that bad. It might feel like there's a time in your life where you fucking hit rock bottom. And well, guess what? Now you think about it, it's like, well, that's kind of like a joke now, right? It's like, yeah, okay, it happened. It didn't feel well, but you overcame it. And whatever you overcame, you kind of look at it as like, wow, I can't believe that actually happened, or whatever. So it doesn't really bother you. But what you kept running away from, that you never faced, and you look back at it, it's always gonna trigger you every single time. So you want to make sure that whatever you are fearing, you want to look at it and face that. Otherwise, you keeping that alive, and everything that you do is into validation of it. So if this is fear, and you're running away from fear, you're keeping that fear alive. So then the moment you're like, well, I don't have a lot of money, I don't have a lot of money, then the moment you start getting more money but the fear is still there, and then when you turn back around, you never actually face your fear. Well, guess what? When you look back at it again, you're looking at fear and that validation that you need from other people, so that the fear is, it doesn't overtake you. But eventually it will. Once you feel like, well, I have a lot of money and a lot of people love me and all this, how come I still feel empty? It's because you never faced what you were supposed to fight off. All right, so really think about that, because that's something that if you're running away from, you're actually keeping it alive. All right, so you are not your past. So, and here's the beauty of a lot of things is, before I continue, let me read some stuff. Being respectful is always okay, I can't read that word. Inculcated. Is that a word? You got to educate me on this one. Uh, me, because of what my parents has always told me. Because if I know how to respect other people, I get my respect back. Yes, and respect is to be earned, and it's not given. So, you know, before I continue, I could give you a little personal story of my journey towards where, how I feel now and where I'm at now, as opposed to where I was a few years back. Okay, let me take a sip. Oh, kombucha. Anyways, so the journey started where, I had enough. I was just like, yo, I had enough. I don't want it. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So I started doing a lot of things. I started seeking out, you know, help. And I didn't really know where to start. All I knew was that I just didn't want to be there anymore, and I was desperate. And anyways, let's fast forward a little bit. And it came from a place where I started realizing a lot of things, and I started learning a lot. And as I was learning, well, guess what? I'm started educating myself. So it feels good. Like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's nice. And then because I knew it was the right thing to do, but what ended up happening was, little by little, life gave me little obstacles here and there, right? Just, I guess you could call it little tests. Start testing me here, testing me there. And then when the bigger test came, it's like, all right, Mitchell, do you really align with what you say? Are you the guy that says something and then doesn't do it, or are you a guy that says and believes what you say, and you actually do what you not only tell others, but you doing it yourself too as well? And one of the biggest part was actually letting go one of my quote unquote best friends. And it was I was like, wait, we're cool and all, but when this happens, you're not really there. And it's like, you're there for me sometimes, and but if this person shows up, I'm out of the picture. It's like, oh, I get that you're busy, but it's like, yo, this is something really important. Anyways, I was like, there's no respect in this manner. So I started respecting myself. I was like, look, I'm not gonna tolerate with this bullshit. I'm not gonna tolerate with this disrespect also. So when I tell you this is my last time that I'm going to ever see you ever again, this is my last time. And so it happened not once, but it happened twice. So that's why, whatever you allow, you invite more of. So the first time that we kind of like, squashed it, we forgave each other and whatnot. It's I didn't know personally that I was enabling more of it. And if that person felt like it was okay to do it again. And so guess what? It happened again. And history repeated itself. So finally I was like, no, that's it. Like, know that I'm not, that's it. I'm over this. They're like, oh yeah. All right, sure. And then it's been like years. And actually came back, and I was like, look, no, I appreciate it. Whatever you're doing, I'm not upset. I'm just, I respect myself. So it's that indifference. It's not that I don't care. It's I do care. I care about myself a lot, and that's why I'm not willing to go back to where I was. So the fact that you are coming over here and you talking to me, I appreciate what you do. But I still have to make my own choices, and my own choices is I can't go back to that. I can't. So, I hope you live a happy and healthy life. You know, whatever great things that happen to you, like I hope you enjoy more of it. But, I'm on my own little path, my own little journey. So, and it felt very freeing to be able to say that because under that quote unquote pressure, I felt like I couldn't do it before. And then the second time that it happened, I was like, wow, it was actually not that bad. And then I did say, like, look, if I ever decide to want to change my mind, you will hear from me. But if I don't, you will know, you already know my answer. So am I leaving that door open like Bruno Mars, right? Uh, but I was like, if I ever do decide to change my mind, you will hear from me. And at that point, we both have the option of whether or not that we could accept each other or not. So it's not even me saying like, if I come back, you will have to accept me back. Like, nah. But that's under my control on how I feel about a certain thing. But chances are, unless they change, I'm not going to go back. And here's the thing about self help too. At the same time, self help is great. You can always become better, but there's this is level, okay? And this is what I noticed too. It's okay. Say you're single, right? You're here and you're working on self help. This is you. This is them. Okay, you're single now, so they're not there. And then you're working your way up. You're working your way up, and then you finally meet somebody. But then you meet somebody and then you like them a lot and they make you feel happy, whatever, but they're not really into self-help at all. They don't want to help themselves. They're cool where they're at, fine. But you don't feel comfortable there. You're like, no, I want a little bit more happiness for myself. So you start moving up. And then you start to not align with them anymore. And then so what ends up usually happening is since you don't align with them, they kind of just fades away, right? And maybe this person is cool about it, or maybe they're very like verbally aggressive or abusive, right? Like, you will never find nobody better than me, whatever, sure. And then they start fading away, and then you start moving up, and then you meet somebody, and the same thing happens again, right? But here's the good thing: once you pass a certain threshold, you're going to meet somebody that wants to align better with you. And the reason why is once you hit that threshold, people at that peak of that threshold, they want to move up together as well. And so that's the beauty of it too. So yes, it's going to take a lot of time to kind of weed out certain people, but know that as long as you're working towards on what you want, you're not going to look back and be like, oh, like all the great things and all these other stuff, like you, because you want what's best for you. And if other people can't see that, you're gonna see that. And then if you hold your ground and you're centered and you believe in what you believe in, people will start looking at you like, okay, there's something a little different about you from how I knew you 5 years ago. Like, cause you're a little different. I don't know. Maybe it's in your demeanor. Maybe it's in your words. But you're working on becoming better version of yourself where you're not just focused on one thing so that other people could validate you. You're focusing on a compass on this entirety of things so that when you're moving up, you're doing it for yourself. And when you meet the right people at the top, they want to become better because they wouldn't want to stop neither. So reason why I'm saying this, and the moral of that story is, I don't want you guys to feel discouraged as you're doing so, because you're going to find people and you'll be like, oh, this is the one, I'm gonna stay with them for the rest of my life. And then when you start seeing things that don't align, well, guess what, sometimes it's better to start moving forward for yourself. Thank you, Connie. Appreciate it. No, it's okay. You don't have to like someone, but you should respect them. Yeah. But respect is to be earned too. Anyways, Um, so here's another thing about being uninformed, right? Which is just because you're uninformed, it doesn't mean you have to stay there. Okay. So I'm gonna start with this quote where it says, "There must be a happy medium somewhere between totally informed and blissfully unaware." And how I digest this is when I read blissfully unaware is, there's a lot of things that I don't really need to hear about. Where, it's unfortunate that bad things happen to, to good people sometimes. But things always happen to people, and it's not that I don't care. It's just that it has not one, it has nothing to do with me. But two, it's like I don't even know that person. Now if I know that person, it's a little different. And of course I would try my best to help and whatnot, yada yada yada. But yeah, things happen to people. So what I started gauging is, when I'm speaking to people, what are they really talking about? Are they talking about people? Are they talking about events? Or are they talking about certain ideas to move forward? Right. And if they're talking about themselves and they're trying to find themselves, absolutely, I will sit down and I will listen. And but if they're just complaining and complaining, just be cautious of those certain people where they come to you because you're a great listener, and just because they have your time, it doesn't mean they deserve your time, because your time is for yourself. No matter what you want to do with it, you could be sleeping, you could be watching a movie, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you have to prioritize them, but you know give to those that deserve it, not to those that needs it. So anyways, that's how I digested blissfully unaware. So ignorance is not bliss, right? Because in this case you would just stay where you're at because you don't know it. Just because it's easy to say, oh, I don't know it, so I don't really need to do anything, right? No, no. If you don't know it, then you should read a book, you should attend a seminar, or you should listen to podcasts or whatever it is to move yourself forward, like there, or surround yourself with those type of people that can help you with that. So yeah, you must educate yourself to set yourself free. If you love yourself, you choose to be happy. And when you choose to be happy, that's a choice, because happiness is not a destination. It is something that you choose to be. Okay. Anyways, constantly working on yourself, put yourself in a situation where, you know, where you want to constantly put yourself in a certain situation where it's challenging for yourself to do it, but it's not impossible to obtain, right? So you don't want to discourage yourself and be like, there's no way I can do it, right? You want to be able to be like, okay, how do I make this slightly more difficult? Just like lifting a weight, right? You don't go from 5-10 pounds to lifting like 35 in your arm, right? So you want to be able to challenge yourself in that sense. So find books, be informed, and just don't stay where you're at. I don't think anyone really enjoys staying where they're at, and those that do, they just complain about it. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about vibrations. Now, I'm not a professional. I just kind of stumble across this a little bit, and they call it vibrations. You could call it whatever you want, but it's just certain type of people, and it's certain type of people that you may or may not resonate with. And I'll get into that in a bit. But so back to the slide, being uninformed causes overthinking. And the reason why it causes that is because, in certain areas of your life where most people lack in, whether it's relationship or job or their health, usually they wait till something is too late. That's when they're like, oh, I need to do something about it. But, you have the time. You could start educating yourself, and you can start planning for yourself. All right. Being uninformed in a relationship causes most people to start acting out of compulsion, which is what I was talking about earlier. So when you're acting out of compulsion, and when things take a turn, which is not something that you really want, it and then you start acting of controlling. It feels forceful, and that's not real love. It's just because you don't really know how to control yourself. And Remember that relationship is about giving. It's about allowing. So just remember that, because if the moment you're in a relationship and you're just always trying to control that person, it's not going to last. It might last 10 years. They just settled and dealt with your ass. That's what happens. But if you're allowing them, they will always find a way to come back. And it's because you're like, yo, you're not worried about them leaving because you already know you're the shit. And when you're the shit, and this is not saying like, oh, I'm better than everybody else. You're just saying like, okay, they don't see the value in me. That's okay. Some other person will. All right. Um. So, have set boundaries that you won't let yourself compromise. So that's another thing that, as I was on my journey, which was, I finally set myself boundaries and I enforced it. And there's a lot of people that didn't like it. And when I told them like, look, no, like I'm just not gonna, like that's not gonna fly with me. I'm not okay with that. Oh, you changed? No, I just enforced something that you wanted me to say yes to, and I'm not about that. Maybe I was before because I was uneducated, you know, I was uninformed. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better, but now I do. And now that I do, yes, yes, I have changed, and I'm choosing myself first. Um, this is why you have to choose wisely. Who becomes our future partner? Absolutely. Who accepts our flaws? Yes. And when you're in that relationship with that someone or your partner or whoever it may be, you're not there to try to change somebody, because one, that's really selfish of you to try to change somebody. It's really selfish. Now, what you can do is you can inspire them. And if you don't meet in alignment now, and you're constantly doing better and they don't want to move up with you, well, guess what? You're going to move up eventually, and they bark back and they can say all the things that they want, but guess what? They're just going to go away eventually. And somehow, some way, as you're moving up, they'll find a way back in. But you're like, for real, like, you had your chance. It's not like you're doing any better right now. This is the truth. You're not doing anything for yourself. Maybe you got more money, or that's great. But like deep down, how you still think, the way you think, it's not going to last in this relationship. At least not anymore, right? So that's why when you start educating yourself, the numbers start going down, right? Because you could always fish in the same barrel and get the same crap every time. But does it mean, like, do you really want to be around those people? It's at that point, that is your choice, right? That's why I was like, what's a good place to meet people? I think, now this is me personally, I don't think a club is a really great place to meet somebody. I really don't. Now, can you find love at a club? Yes, absolutely. Or a bar or whatever, but I don't think it's the best place. Now, if you want someone that at least does the thing that you enjoy, like, for me, I want someone that's healthy and fit. So I would, a gym's a good place to start, or maybe some classes or whatever, if they're into working out at the very least, right? I'm not saying the gym is the only place, but if they're into fitness and they're into taking care of themselves and they want to eat healthy, yes. Because me personally, I can't align with somebody that only puts junk in their body, even though Mitchell loves Cheetos. Okay, occasionally. But those are my guilty pleasures. But it doesn't happen very often. But anyways, it's those, right? I wouldn't want someone that doesn't take care of themselves. That's what I'm saying. So you want to at least be in alignment, right? So, anyways, I was talking about setting boundaries. So, um, so the question you really want to always ask yourself is, what is the strongest course of action? And the strongest course of action is taking action for yourself. You want to make sure that you put yourself first. Now, of course, if you have kids and all that, you want to make sure that what is the best place to come from in terms of strength and weakness? What is the best place, right? And it's not always acting out of emotions, even though we're very emotionally driven creatures. That's how we act. You want to at least logically think about why you're doing it. You want to make sure. Um, like this, like this Charizard. This I'm gonna bring in this everywhere I go, anywhere I stream. This is where Charizard's gonna be at because it makes me very happy. Anyways, um, I saw this. How many P's are there? One, two. There's 5 P's because prior preparations prevents poor performance. How much could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Um, prior preparation prevents poor performance. There you go. I said it. Yeah, you want to make sure that you prepare for certain things, right? Always stay strapped. Nah, I'm not talking about no gun. I'm talking about guys that want to, do certain things, right? But Chevelin might beg to differ because she says it's always better to something raw. Um, things don't happen by chance; they happen by change. Okay, and change is by action, which is the strongest course of action, right? Because you have to take action. Operating from a place of strength versus from a place of weakness. So instead of working from so here's an example, right? Instead of working from I need to play this kind of game to let her know that I'm busy so that I don't respond right away. It's like, no, you don't really need to do that. Like, there's better ways on spending your time. It's, for example, focusing on your purpose. Then you are busy. You don't have to pretend to be busy. Okay. So, they say, oh, to fake it till you make. I feel like that's a very played out way of approaching things. It's like, because people really get sucked into faking it so much that they faked it their entire lives. And then once they get exposed and revealed, they're like, now what? I'm like, well, that's because you've been taking this freaking shortcut for so freaking long and you never actually work towards on actually looking within yourself and facing that little fear that I was talking about. And then everything else is in validation of this fear that's scaring you away. So whatever this fear is, okay? Um yeah, so stop pretending, okay? Another one is, instead of saying, if I don't have someone, I won't be happy. Instead, you want to work towards on yourself. That is the strongest place that you could work from, right? The strongest course of action is, instead of saying, I need someone to make me happy, be the person you want to attract. Become the person you want to attract. Attract the right person because you're working from a place of abundance instead of from a place of scarcity. So that's actually what Julian was talking about, because a lot of people they play from a place, or they're acting from a place of scarcity, like you don't have enough of it, so get more of it. So then when you get more of it, you have abundance, and once you have abundance, you won't need that anymore because you already have a lot. But guess what? You're always running away from this fear if you're always acting from a place of this scarcity, of this fear of scarcity. So you try to get as much, you trying to get more so that you're more validated. But if you're already working from a place of abundance, you're setting yourself a different bar. So it's like this. I think the example they gave was, imagine you feel like you're a 3 out of a 10. You feel like you're a 3 out of a 10. So you're working from here, and the tens, let's just use this as a 10, right? Using this as a 10. So you're working from here, and this is where 10's at. So every single time you're like, well, I need to do more. I need to do more. So you're always trying to reach to the 10. And then once you reach to the 10, you're like, well, if I have just a little bit more willpower, just a little bit more motivation, you're just going to reach a little bit more. But do you see how much resistance that's causing you? But instead, if you're already working from a place of a 10, moving up will be much easier. So then you're actually allowing yourself, believing into yourself. What you look at expands, what you focus on expands. So you're working from this place like, look, I might not be where I'm at now, but I'm gonna be where I'm at. I'm going to be that 10, and once I work at that 10, boom, you just move from there. So it's actually setting that bar for yourself where you're not running away from it. Because if you're always working from a place at a 3 and you're always chasing to get that 10, you're always chasing that validation. You're always chasing that thing so that you could justify how you feel when you're there, and then when you don't get it, you sink back down to a 3 again. Like, it always finds a way to draw you back in, no matter where you're at in life. So, working from this place, I forgot that name. Something mastery. Anyways, I gotta look that up. Um, Something mastery. This from Julian. Mitchell, I like what you said. Be who you want to attract. Yes. You want to become the person you want to attract, because then success is not something you chase. It's something that you attract into your life, because you're trying to become that person. Because the moment you start chasing something, it's not going to be yours. And even if it is, it's only temporary. So don't you want long lasting change? And if you want long lasting change, you have to become that person. Just like what Jim Rohn said, if I gave you $1 million, best you will be is $1 million at best. But it wouldn't take long for it to go into the pockets of the same people that gave it to you, because they know how to work that. They're educated. Okay. So, um, let's see. So yeah, so instead of working from a place of scarcity, work from a place of abundance. So instead of working from a place of I'm a 3 now and whatever, no, you're a 10 right here. Work from there and then move up from there, so that you're not chasing something to always validate yourself. Okay? So, strongest course of action in relationships. Okay? Strongest course of action is really standing ground on what you say. That's why your words are binding. You want to make sure that whatever you say, you mean what you say. And I've been saying that so many times. It's like, it's those little things that you let slip away that lets people come back into your life, and you tolerate, and what you tolerate you invite more of. So if you like a guy, right, or you like a girl, whatever, it's, you want to make sure that, hey, look, I don't want to be just friends. I want more. So you're not going to agree to something that you never wanted. Because when you do agree to something that you never wanted, well, guess what? You're going to become resentful. You're going to, it's always going to, imagine I said yes to a girl that I really like, and she didn't like me. And she was like, no, you know what? We could be friends. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Thinking, hoping that I could get a chance. And every time I see her with another guy, I just get mad. I just get upset. Like, I dug myself that hole by agreeing with it, by thinking that I could change her mind and be that that knight in shining armor that could come swoop her up. Like, no, it will be another guy, because I'm already friend zoned. Okay, so not saying yes to terms that you do not agree with. Okay, and know why you're saying yes. So it's like, even at a place like at a job, right? Being at a job that you don't want to work at, but knowing that, hey, you know what? I do need a little bit of money right now. This job is not forever, but it's only temporary. Give yourself a set time, and I'm gonna work towards this, save this much, work towards this, and then hopefully I could do something that's more meaningful. And which is what I really loved about Jordan Peterson, when he talked about do something in your life that is more meaningful, rather than something that's expedient or trending or fast or quick. Because something that's a trend, we already know what happened to trends. Like, it just dies. Look at what TikTok is, right? Everything was all dancing, and still a lot of dancing, but like, everyone's always trying to catch up with that wave. But if you love what you do and you continue to do it, eventually you're gonna get your time, and your time will show. That's a fact. Okay? But if you continue to do it the same way, well then you got to change it up a little bit. All right? So, strongest course of action. Here's another one. Uh Most people in this digital age, they like to use a phone behind, the comfort behind the phone, because there's no anxiety. Like, all you have to do is swipe yes or no, basically, left or right. But I think The strongest course of action is if you see someone that you like and you're interested, go up to them. As a guy, even if you don't know what the hell you're gonna say, all right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, all right, ladies, if you're watching this. If a guy walks up to you and be like, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm actually really nervous. I actually came here and maybe he's stuttering, right? Let's hold on, give me a second, and you're just sitting there, just looking at him, like, okay, I have a feeling that you just want my number or something like that, but you're not saying it. And then he's collecting his thoughts, right? And he's like, so, yeah, I want your number. Okay, okay. I want your number. And even though you're like, okay, you're gonna smile, right? Now, depending on whether or not you're attracted to him, that's up to you. But if a guy walked up to you and had the courage to come up and ask you for your number, compared to the better looking guy over there across the street that you had your eyes on the whole time, he never approached you. But this guy that was kind of, a little shy, a little nervous, didn't know any better, just did what he did. He built up the courage, stuttered his entire way into the conversation, and finally just asked you for your number. And at that point, you will have more respect for him as opposed to the guy that was looking at you, that was way more hotter, that never came up to you. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But that's why I would say it's kind of lost nowadays. Not a lot of guys approach women anymore because they're like, well, why do I need an approach if I have an app that I could just keep swiping until I just talk, and then I get her out. And then once I get her out, then I could do X, Y, and Z with her. Like, I could skip this whole interaction, this nervousness, because I'm not sure if she's taken, or I don't know if she has a boyfriend or whatever, right? Like, no, just go up, ask her for a number. If she says no, well, guess what? Then you can walk away, and it's not that bad. You're not going to die. It's not that bad. And that is, in my opinion, the strongest course of action. It's not in relationship, but like the whole dating and courting phase. It's like you want to be able to do certain things. What if a woman's bold enough to do that to a guy? It happens the other way. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had, I had maybe I wouldn't say they approached me, but I appreciated it. I'm like, okay, like they did it in a very subtle way. I'm like, I just called them out. I was like, you just wanted my number. They was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, no, it's cool. No, I appreciate that, and that's cool. Hey, um, but if I didn't find them attractive enough for me to want to go up there, but I see that. I'm like, no, you know what? Um, I'm cool. I'm cool to be friends. If you okay with being friends, now don't agree with something that you really don't want. Okay. And if somehow, some way I develop feelings, that's a different story. But anyways, yeah, I think that's okay. Cause sometimes, but here's also another thing too. Let's just say you're a woman. You walked up to this guy and you asked him for his number because he was too chicken shit to to ask you for yours. But let's just say you really want a strong masculine guy, okay? But you really liked him, so you did it. You kind of gave in a little bit. You're like, it's fine. I just really want to get to know this person, and so you did. X amount of days, months, weeks, years go by, or whatever, and then you find out that this guy isn't like, because he's not that masculine, and you're into more masculine men. And if you had to do that, you wouldn't really want to settle with that type of guy unless somehow, some way he develops this magical sense of self-development and he applies the action and he wants to become better and it goes up. And then he actually becomes that person that you're really attracted to. Then that's different. But I mean, so you approach that guy, okay? Maybe you could share your story, but I personally see, I'm not saying that women can't do it. I'm just saying that if you are doing it and you're a more of a feminine woman and you really want a masculine guy at the end of the day, or you want a man to really act like a man. I know it's 2022, but it doesn't change, okay? This is hardwired in us. So if that's what you want and you're going for a more feminine-ish kind of weaker men, like, is that really what you want to settle with? That's my question. Do you want to settle with that? And if you're okay with that, then it's fine. Then who am I to judge? But I'm thinking that, like, wouldn't you want a guy to? I wouldn't say that could open you up mentally, physically, mental and spiritually. Like, this just makes you feel drawn to him versus someone that you just like. I had to approach him to get his number, right? So how do you guys meet? Ooh, that's she asked me for my number. Hey, maybe it could be a nice Hollywood movie, okay? Yeah. But anyways, so like I said, this next slide that I'm talking about, slide and a half that I'm going to be talking about. I'm not great at this, but it's something that I stumbled across as I was reading and learning. Um and actually hearing this from Julian too himself is is to be in vibration with certain people, right? And this is to be in a high vibration state. So high vibration is associated with positiveness, right? Which is love, forgiveness, compassion, peace, just understanding and not be too bothered by events and circumstances and people, right? And people with lower vibrations, oh, there's a lot, right? There's always bad news for people. Anyways, people with low vibrations, they tend to gossip. They tend to share a lot of gossip. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of fear. There's greed, right? They're not really happy, so they might even be like depressed. Now, I do want to clarify that if you are medically diagnosed, then I think this is going to be a little bit different. But this I'm talking about normal people. Okay, let's see. All right, Sarah. Let's see. Have to get ready for bed and try to sleep. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for staying. Appreciate it, and I hope you do feel better and get more hot water. Okay. Um, but anyways, people with low vibration, they're stuck, they're emotionally distant, and they could be, it's not all of them, but they're self-centric, they're very focused on themselves because it's me, I need more, because they don't even have enough to give. They don't have enough to give. They're argumentative, they complain a lot, aka they bitch a lot. They bitch and moan about whatever. They always have something to bitch about. People with low vibrations will always find a reason to bitch about something, no matter what, however great it is. They will always complain about, like, I had someone gave me something really nice. They're like, why they give it to you? What do they want? They must want something from you. I'm like, no, they're cool people. Like, they didn't want anything from me. I don't really want anything from them, but they knew I needed it, and if it could save me money, and they yeah. Oh, they must want something, right? Like, they these are the type of people that just can't be happy for you because they always need something for themselves. Now, I'm pretty sure if they gave that something to them, they will feel happy. They wouldn't complain about it as much, and maybe they even might, if they're even lower. They're like, what? They give it to you. What the hell do you want from me, right? These are people with low vibrations. So be in vibration. So you want to at least be at a place where you're at a higher vibration. And usually that's a lot of stuck energy, right? Things that's holding you back, whether it's your physiology, or you're like always walking with a hunch forward. Like, you see those people that kind of just hunches, or are they just walking up with the chest up? It, you know, they're they're going for what they want, right? Versus always kind of hunched over, closed off, right? So, what is holding you back, right? Bring out what bring out what you have always been avoiding. Bring it out. look at it. And if you're not sure, write it down. Write it down so that you are aware of it, so that you're not using your head as a filing cabinet. Like, you can't do a long algebraic question, maybe you can, but by just thinking about it, right? Like, if I told you what's 1431 times whatever bigger number, right? You're gonna have to write it down or use a calculator, okay? I get it. But it's going to take some time for you to write down. Now, if the equation extends more and more and more and more and more, you can't just do it in your head. You got to write it down. So what makes this any more different if you're planning for your life? So if you want to plan for your life, you want to make sure you write it down. That way you stay focused, and what you focus on expands. Okay, like that. All right. So bring out what you're avoiding, and knowing that if you did change, your life would be better. How would it look like? How would it feel? If your life would be a little bit more different. And this is not to say that, oh, once I have this, then I will be happy, but it's more like, you know what, this is not where I want to be, this is where I want to be. I want to be at a better, happier state. So I'm going to start from here and work my way up. And if I'm not there, I work towards that. I'm not going to fake it till I'm there, but then I'm going to work towards there, and then I work my way up from there. So that you're setting yourself up at a higher vibration as well. So people in lower vibration can't stand. Okay, so here's the conflict of where it could, if you don't align with certain people with the your goals and values and your alignment, right? This is where alignment is. People in lower vibrations can't stand being around people at higher vibrations because it doesn't reinforce their reality. It just doesn't. They can't see what you see. It doesn't make any sense to them. But to you, it's like, but I get it. How come you don't get it? It's like there's certain things that other people has told me in the past that I'm like, I get it. It sounds important, but it doesn't apply to me. And then it wasn't until I got a little bit older, that's when I was like, actually makes a lot of sense. But I didn't get it at that time. So why did I get it now? It's because I started educating myself, right? And you will find yourself at that situation too. When you start educating yourself, things starts to make more sense, right? I said this to JR or Dom. I was like, yo, like when you start hearing certain things and it starts aligning with you, it's like brain jizz. it's like it's like brain jizz. But so that's what happens when you're around people when you're at a higher vibration and you're around lower people with lower vibration. It's just it doesn't reinforce their reality. So everything that you do or say, it's like they either going to try to pull you down to their level to justify where they're at, or they can't stand seeing where you're at, so then they're gonna try to pull you down anyways. Or they're gonna be like, oh, so you think you're the shit now, huh? You think now that you got money, you think you're the shit, or now do you think you're all that, right? Um, yeah, people with low vibrations, be careful with them, right? Pick them out. And I hope this clap wasn't too loud for the mic. Because this is the thing, it poses a threat to their identity. And when you're just there, right? And you're like, you ever hated on someone where you're just like, oh, you think they think they're the shit, huh? Like there was a point where I hated on someone because they were successful. Okay, this was Mitchell back then. I was like, oh, they think they're so cool. They got that little that start, like that fake fame, right? It's like you will find reasons to say things to make yourself feel better about yourself because they made it and you didn't. And it wasn't until I was like, all right, yeah, Mitchell, you just not there, and that's okay. Just be okay with that. And the moment I started understanding that it's not they think they're the shit. It's more like, how can I be like you? What are you doing right? What are some of the things that you did that worked for you that got you to where you're at? I think those are way better questions than, oh, you think that's not even a question. You think you're the shit? That's not a question. It's not really a question. No one's gonna answer that. They just look at you. Okay, poses a threat. Okay, if someone doesn't know who you are or where they are at in their life, they are lost. So you want to at least know where you're at. See what you say, Connie. It makes a lot of sense why some people click with us and some people won't. We aren't always everyone cup of tea. Yeah, and that's okay. And you just remember that there's more mis- miserable. I can't say that word. Miserable people out there than there are just happy, outgoing. They see the world in a positive view. Like there's very few of those. So just know that, right? Just know that. And yeah, be careful what you share with other people too as well, because it's like im- listen to your dialogue. If your dialogue is to share bad news to people, there and it's like, oh, they're gonna associate that bad news with you as a person. Like you just shared bad news to me, and I get that you're telling me about bad news because you want to inform me, but it tells me who you are. Like, you ever have someone that just always shares bad news to you, and that's the only thing that they ever share? And then when they share it to you, it's like you get this type of this sense where you're like, okay, this person's just they're just a negative person. It's I don't feel comfortable being around them, because the next time I'm around them and I'm happy, they're just gonna be like, "Well, do you hear about what happened in a park? Huh? Do you hear about that little girl at that park with this old man? Or oh, did you hear what happened at this bus stop? This person just kicked this old man." It's like, for real? Like, okay, no, like blissfully unaware. Okay, blissfully unaware. Okay, so a good way to audit this is, how do you physically feel? Physically feel like, how do you physically feel? Do you feel light and energized? Is your mind clear? And do you feel healthy? And chances are, if you are, then you're in a higher vibration, right? And if you're on the lower vibration, you start feeling things like you're weighted, you're down, you're depressed, and things just feels heavy. It doesn't feel light, right? And a good way to look at that is, being around certain people when you're not with them, because when you're not with them, you're by yourself, and when you're by yourself, then usually you're at your most natural state, most natural, right? Because you're by yourself. And do you feel drained when you're with these people or these type of events or the things that you do, right? Like, I know that eating McDonald's don't really make me feel great afterwards, but every now and then I like my French fries. But it's not something. It's not my go-to. It's not like I can't wait to wake up and eat McDonald's. No, but it's what are certain things? What are these people doing for you? Does it add value to your life, or does it bring you down? And that's a good way to audit that, as to how you feel. Okay. And my last half slide is being around those with low vibration, right? Which is, some of the things that, oh, you think you're you think you're or yeah, it's just funny to me now, because and I'm not saying that I'm better than them. I just don't want to be around them. I don't. It's just you drain me. Okay? Like, can we talk about other things? Can we talk about what you going to do, that way I'm interested, like, oh, maybe we could benefit from each other at the very least. Like, hey, what's something that's new in your life that is exciting? Because what you're excited about, I'm excited for you for, because I want you to do better, and I want to be better. That way we can both help support each other to become better. And I think that's a much better relationship than, oh, guess what, I just got a raise at my job and I got like 15 to 25%, and then the other person's like, oh, you made more money, so you're gonna treat me out to dinner then? So you're gonna do this? Oh, now that you have more money, you should probably get me the. Yeah, I get it. It's far out there, but yeah, there are certain people like that. That just because you're doing a little bit better, and they're not joking about it, or maybe they are, but they're really not. Anyways, yeah, there are certain people that don't want you to do that wants you to do better, that doesn't want you to do better than them. Okay. Um, Let's see. Okay. Lastly, no one will ever do or say anything that is not a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in the moment. So if they're complaining about you finding someone or something, they're complaining about what you have that they don't got. That's it. And what they don't got, like things don't happen by chance. They happen by change. So, you know, because you got it, okay, great. But you know, have you ever been, as a kid, been like, oh, that kid or that friend that you have like gets all this, and then you're just envious for that. I remember I was at, and I think I shared the story with you where I was at this, um, it's my elementary school, and they have the fair, and I just remember my friend will have like $20, and each ticket is a quarter, so he had 80 tickets, right? And you know, as I was growing up, I saw my friend. He had 80 tickets and he was just ripping it and just, playing this, playing that. And I remember how my mom gave me $1. And that dollar lasted me the entire day. But I was just really happy that I even had a dollar. But then I had another friend that had $5 that didn't have as much, and but I was like, you have 20 tickets, I only got four. I was like, I think you just used it all too damn quickly. He was like, yo, it's been this long. You still have like three left. I was like, just because I value this. And so, anyways, he was just complaining the whole time. I was like, yo, you had $5. You used it all. That's your choice. This other guy had 20, so he's complaining about this other guy having $20. And I'm just here with this dollar that I have. And in the beginning I felt kind of upset because I was like, oh, I don't really get to spend that and have that much fun as opposed to like my other friend. But I was like, I'm actually really happy that my mom worked really hard for this dollar, and the fact that she gave me this dollar to spend on, like, she could have easily said no, you ain't getting shit. um but she did give me that dollar, and I just I still remember I put that little ticket in there, and that person was like, yo, did you didn't give me a ticket? I was like, yeah, I did. I dropped it, and I really did. And that person was like, no, you have to do it. I was like, I was really upset because I only had, so I used one ticket and that person didn't even see it. So I was like, forget it, man. So I walked away. I was like, yo, this person's like already ripping me off. So I ended up with just three tickets walking around for hours and hours. But I had a lot of good time. But it's everything is perspective, right? Whereas because my other friend that had 20, I wasn't really that close to him, but he had $20 and he spent it. But whatever, this other guy, $5, he complained, right? I had one, and like I said, I did compare, but I was actually really grateful because getting that dollar from my mom meant a lot. So it taught me certain things, to be grateful for what you got, and so not being in comparison to another person, and that helped carried on to different areas of my life too. So that I'm not really trying to become better than the next person. I'm just, where am I at now, and how can I become better than where I am at now, and wherever I am at in my life. So, anyways, being in a high vibration is that's where you're going to be eventually if you work towards yourself, and it's applying the actions. And when you start meeting people that don't align with your goals and values or your vibrations, that's when, and even the people that you do know already, and it's like you start working and they're not really working towards themselves, you're just gonna they're just gonna start moving away from you, or you're gonna start moving away from them, where you're like, I don't really want to hang out with you as much. All you really do is just drink, or all you really do is just complain, or all you do is just gossip about other people, and it's not even fun. What's up, Greg? But yeah, it's being grateful. So gratitude goes a long way. Something that I woke up to today too. That's why I was like, I'm really grateful to have good friends where I could just give them a call and be like, yo, this dance, you mind teaching me this? And he was like, yeah, yeah, for sure, yeah. this is when I'm free. Let's schedule this time. Let's do this together, right? Or just have good people. And nothing feels forced. They're willing to help. And yeah, just it flows. It flows. And if they say no, you're not going to be bothered. Just like the weather, you're not going to be bothered just because it's raining. It's like, no. How can you work it to your advantage if it is raining, right? Was that masculine for a guy to ask a girl for dinner before giving out his number? Okay, where'd that come from, Annie? Is that Was that Was that masculine for a guy to ask the girl for a dinner first before giving out his number? I feel like you're referring to something else. um, I don't know, but I think as long as he knows what he wants and he's going to do what he wants, if he doesn't want to give you his number, he's not gonna give you his number. But if he wants to like be like, hey yo, let's get some food, want to get to know you, great. It depends on what that person wants. But also that person did ask. Anyways, that is what I have for the show. Um, High vibrations, lower vibrations, having the strongest course of action. Are you coming from a place of strength versus from a place of weakness? And that's something that you always want to ask yourself. Am I acting in a way in this relationship because I feel like I can't control myself and I need to get this validation from this girl or my girlfriend or whatever? Or should I just allow them to be whatever, right? Let them be and they will come back. And if they don't see the value in you. And as long as you see the value in yourself, that's where respect comes from. And then when you set and you enforce that boundary and they don't like it, well, that's on them, because you're only allowing yourself with good like-minded people that's easy to get along with, that's happy for you, good for your soul, those type of people. And I feel like that's the best way, where you don't need them to be around, but if they do, that's great, because they're supposed to be a complement to your life, not your life. Let's see. Uh, what Cheyenne asked was kind of ooh. What was that? It would be like, would it be feminine and pure woman power in a gal asking for a guy for Sadie's Hawkins? Isn't that? Yeah, I don't. It's Sadie's Hawkins. I forget. That's when the girl is supposed to ask the guy, right? Nah, I'm cool. I never. Well, to be fair, I've never been asked to a dance before. Have I? No, I was paired up once. Although I did ask a girl to go to a dance, and then eventually, so she said yes, and then eventually gave some excuse, told me no, that she didn't want to, whatever. Anyways, it was cool. I was like, yeah, it's fine. So I had a prom date, and then I didn't have a prom date. And what ended up happening was, when I went there, I was like, I met someone, and I was like, and this was back in high school. I was like, yo, you don't seem like you have a prom date neither. You could be my prom date. She was like, sure. I was like, great. I was like, mine ditched me. Where's yours? She was like, well, I just never got one. I was like, great. It all works out. It all works out. Thanks to Mitchell. Oh, there's plenty more. I'm pretty sure you could get more songs from other people. I don't know much about K-pop, alright? So please don't ask me. I just know certain songs that I like a lot, and I just gravitate towards it, and I listen on repeat for like hours and hours. That's me. If you're ever sitting in my car, okay, and I like a song, well, guess what? I could be driving to LA, and that's like 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours, depending. Whatever. You might be in that car listening to that song for 6, 7, or 8 hours. Okay, just yeah, bring earbuds, noise canceling stuff. But yeah, that's me. I like to listen to stuff on repeat. Anyways, that is all that I have for the show. Thank you all for staying on. And if you guys have any questions, you guys could leave it in a comment below. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. That'll help me a lot. But anyways, I'll still be here for a little bit longer just to hang out with y'all. Yaku, you didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. Mitchell's kind of low on energy today because I'm just kind of tired. But let's see. Um. Oh wait, what? Okay, wait. Let's see. Hold on. Oh my god, I'm addicted. You're into hip hop. You're into hip hop after watching Mitchell's cool dance moves. I think Annie was always into it. Just in time, Yaku. This is where the fun time. Okay, time for a recap. You want a recap? Nah, I don't want to do a recap. Yo, this thing is very gassy. Yo. Okay, you guys are more Yaku. You're more of a nutritionist kind of guy. Tell me something I don't know about kombucha. Is it really good for you? Is it supposed to make you that gassy? Because there's one night where I drank too many kombuchas and let's just say had a lot of gas. My battery is low. Charge it. I'm drinking kombucha. Ginseng is better for you. Okay. It's good for the stomach flora. Okay. They say it's good for your stomach. I am exhausted. Shevelin, you continue to always come on. So I thank you. Thank you. And if you are exhausted, please rest. Please rest. Lay down. I would say get some popcorn. I don't know. What do you do when you're watching these guys? What do you like? Do you just sit there? Are you cooking? Like I'm curious. I'm curious to know what you're actually doing when you're sitting here. Do you just like no whatever Mitchell's saying? I'm just gonna type. Me too. Just came home from work. Ginger beer, just like sauerkraut and pickle items, is very good for you. Okay, so I really like kimchi a lot. Okay, so I ate a lot of kimchi, and I think I ate too much, and then my stomach started like folding laundry while listening to you. Okay. No offer me for the next 6 weeks. So, wow, kimchi is good. So yeah, I'm trying to find that fountain of youth. You know what I mean? And every now and then, like I said, I get like that pimple because I eat Tabasco or I just drench it, and I know it's not good, but I can't help it. I can't help it. Well, yes, I can. I could just be like, no, don't buy it. If it's out of sight, out of mind, right? No, BS. Out of sight, go to Costco or go down the street and buy a bottle of Tabasco and just drench it. I love kimchi. I was thinking about making some kimchi fried rice without the egg. So, like, during my Monday through Fridays, I like to eat plants, and then on a weekend, I don't mind having a little, yeah. Yes, I do. So, actually, one of my ex-girlfriends got me into this brand called Kiehl's, and we're still good friends. Um, and she was like, "Yeah, you should put some cream on your face." I was like, "Hell no!" And this is back in the days. I was like, "Yo, that's some woman stuff, right?" I said the other word, right? I was like, "That's some woman stuff." Nah, men don't do that. And then she was like, "No, like I think it would like help you with your, you won't age as quickly and yada yada yada. It depends on what you eat too." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, whatever." She bought me something and I put it on. I was like, "It stings my face." This is like, yeah, it's because it's cold here, and your body's probably like reacting to it because it's not used to it. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started putting on more, and I was like, yeah, I'm actually liking it. So yeah, Mitchell exfoliates once a week. Um, I try to put on, moisturizer and stuff like that. But now I'm told that there's a lot of chemicals in what I use, so I'm like, God, is he? I'm just happy vibing. Sorry for the joke. Expert cosmetic consultant. Uh, the Me Three. The Me Three. You didn't get it. Is it a Me Three mom? Me Three. It's not Me Two. It's Me Three. Make sure you get your zinc, B vitamins, vitamin D, sun, and equal portion of omega 6 and 3s. I need your health, Yaku. It's amazing how cosmetic can change a person into a different. Yeah, everything that you see, I don't do more of. It's just, yeah, I just put on like moisturizer, and I started getting into a little bit more into like, I haven't gotten as far as face mask because I feel like face mask takes too much time, and, and I feel like it suffocates me. I can't do anything. I'm like, yeah, I can't smile because if I smile, this moves, and then don't make me laugh, right? I don't, and I love laughing, so it's like you can't find me not laughing for a while, Like even today with this low energy, like this is Mitchell's low energy day. Okay, so this is, yeah, and usually I'll be more like, yeah, but this is my low energy day. Sugar and honey scrubs. Okay, I think that's good for your lips, right? I heard like you could exfoliate your lips, re-energize. I was like totally opposite. Make sure you stay away from products that have propelling glycol in it. Okay, I don't know that. I don't even know what that is. Is that something in food, or like is that something you put on your face? Lavender foot scrub. Um, I haven't gone as far as my foot yet. I haven't got that scrub. Um, please don't look at my feet. I don't have the prettiest feet. And if you do want to look at my feet, just make sure I'm wearing shoes, because you're like, oh, Mitchell, I didn't know you can move like that, right? And then when I take off my shoes, you're like, oh shit, why your feet look like that? It was because I used it a lot. It's not that bad. I just, no free foot pics. In other words, okay. Let's see. It's okay. You're still awesome. Lower high energy. Thank you. Like I said, this is Mitchell's low energy day today. But I got kombucha. Um, avoid stuff with high fructose. I always say it wrong when I was in school. Now I'm gonna read this. Does it have fructose? Green tea, filtered water, cane. Okay. Ginger extracts, pineapple flavor. I don't think flavor is good. Anyways. Okay, it has caffeine. That explains a lot why I don't sleep very well. Stevia. Okay. Someone tell me about stevia. Let's see. What else? What else? What juice you like, Greg? Annie, is that even a proper question to ask somebody you just met? Yo, what kind of juice you like? All right. I love foot scrubs. They work wonders. You know what I really like the most is that little exfoliating for the skin. Because, like I said, I do it once a week, and sometimes I forget. I'm not always like on a dot. But if I were to do it, it would be on a Sunday. Anyways, I'm doing it. I'm like, oh yeah, look at all these skin just coming off. And sometimes it's like there are better days, and there are days where it's like it's not that bad. But if it's like 2 weeks, I start seeing like those peels, and it comes off, and it has like this color where it's just like a little darker. I guess you could say it's like more black or whatever. And I'm like, okay, these are all the dead skins coming out. But not only dead skin, it's dead dirty skins, right? Let me see. Face scrub and sugar. All right, let's see. Um, in some foods too, but in most products, shampoo, conditioner, lotion. Oh, okay. Let me look at what you said earlier again. What was it called? Be careful with that thing called the Yaku. Hold up. Okay. Soak yourself in a tub of Epsom salt. I love Epsom salt. I'll put some lavender oil with that too sometimes, you know. Is that too feminine? I don't care. I like soaking myself. It feels good. Especially after a hard workout. Mango juice. If I can't sleep, I'm happy. If I can't sleep, I'm happy. Okay. Awesome. Hope you have a good night. Thanks. You too. Stevia is bad artificial sugar. Okay. Thanks. I'm heading out. Got a jet. Thanks, Greg. Detroit tomorrow. See ya. See ya. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Good luck. Take care. Have a good night's sleep. Yeah. Yeah. So, am I making the bad decisions on drinking this? Maybe. But I opened it, so I'm still gonna drink this. Anyways, it's kombucha. I think there's worse things in life for you, but yeah. Monday through Friday, plant-based. I still have another steak in my freezer. I just froze it. I was like, I'm gonna eat that probably on Saturday or Sunday. Okay. I choose another brand. Yeah, I didn't really think about it when I saw this. I was like, I'm at Costco. I kind of wanted some kombucha. I was like, yeah, I'll get it. And plus, it was on sale too. I was like, sure, you know. And I liked this last time. I just didn't really read the ingredients. I'm Asian. I'm attracted to sales, especially if I knew that it costed like X amount before, and now it's like, I think this was like $13 or something like that, and then it's like, now it's like $9 or 8. I'm like, I want it, even though I don't need it, right? But anyways, yeah. Tonight's topic, like I said, strongest course of action. Choosing the strongest course of action. Anyways, those who have stayed as long, those who have stayed, what questions do you want to ask? Because I would love to answer some. Not everything on sale is always good for us. I know. I'm really sad about this pair of shoes that I have because these are my workout shoes, and now it makes noise every time I walk. Because here's why. I don't have the shoes right over there. I'm not gonna go there and pick it up. Anyways, so the shoe. This is the right side. This is the left. I heel strike with the right, so whenever I walk, it looks like I'm striking here. No one really walks like this, right? Heel to toe. So I strike on this side. Apparently that shoe is a really old shoe now. I think it's about 2 years, two and a half. Let's just say 3. Anyways, there's this big ass air bubble all around it. I think it's like the Air Max 270 or something like that. Anyways, it finally, everything kind of receded so much that it hit the air bubble. And I didn't realize that as I was walking with that air bubble, that I made a hole in that air bubble. So now every time I walk, it makes this squish noise. It's like you know when little babies walk with those shoes, I like squeak squeak. Yeah, it sounds like that, but for adults. So when I walk, it's like and I was like, yo, it's time. But then I do have a new pair of shoe that's coming in. It's not a workout shoe. It's a shoe that I want to wear for, like, you know, to put on. But I guess it's gonna be my workout shoe because I don't want to spend another 150 for a new shoe if I don't have to. Did it help your skin? Yeah, cool. I like the naturalness of the you know. Ginger shot. Oh, I have ginger shots. Ginger beer is good too. I have ginger shots. I have those little tiny ones, but I feel like it's better if I make it myself. Propylene glycol. About 45% of it will be excreted by your kidneys unchanged. The buildup, but lactic acid can lead to acidosis, which is kidney failure. Okay. I do a lot of cardio and I drink a lot of water. So does that help filter out the nasty stuff in my kidneys? Huh? Yeah. Because I like to think that it does. because I'm relatively healthy-ish. You know, I'm what, 30, 34 this year, this month. Oh, and in June this year, but in June. So yeah, I need to find a fountain of youth. You know, I find that in blueberries, blackberries, and I'm thinking. Oh, here's also another thing. So I've been thinking about buying a whole bunch of mason jars, and I don't even know if this is the right choice to do it. But anyways, I was thinking about making overnight oats with, like, I think soy milk, soaking it, and then eating it with, berries and stuff, right? So when I wake up, I got some overnight oats. Thinking about that, or making smoothies in the morning, blending it, and yeah, just stuff like that. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know your opinion about certain things, because I'm trying to prepare for a better, healthier future for myself, so that, here's what I fear, okay? Here's what I fear, and I'm going to do my best, and I talk about fear, but it's the one thing I want to prevent. I want to make sure my hips always work. Yeah. I need to make sure my hips always work for many reasons. And one of it is because I want to be mobile. Okay. I feel like life without movement is not a life. So I want to be able to move. And one of the areas in my one of the areas in my life I need to move in is my hips. You know, you got to have that. It's all in the hips, right? I mean, Shakira still got it. I think I could still do it too. I'm only 30 something, so I'm cool, right? What's the question? You didn't ask me any question. You asked Yaku. Being more natural is really good. Yeah, I mean, I do my best to, like, well, that hula hoop thing. I do a lot in that already. Hip thrust. A hip thrust is good for your ass cheeks. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good for your ass cheeks. And if you do it enough, with enough resistance and weights, um, it will get bigger, depending on what you eat. You have amazing memory, Mitchell. You ask. Let me see this. What do you ask? You didn't say anything to me. Soak yourself in a bathtub. You were talking to Greg, Onyx Dragon. You didn't ask me anything. What are you talking about? It will get bigger. Yeah, depending on what you eat. Yeah. You got that plant-based butt. Plant-based. Okay. So since you're a vegan, you explain this to me. Is it not vegan? I think I already asked you this. Like, if you drink your mother's milk, is this not appropriate to ask? Not now, but oh, masculine stuff. That's the only reason I asked that question. I think it's important to go after what you want. So, if you want to ask them to go eat, yeah, it doesn't matter what you give out. It's, hey, yo, do you want to eat? And if you don't, then it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Answer that. Like, your own mother is nature. A cow is not your mother. Okay. Okay. I appreciate it. All right. It is nature. But is it nature if you drink another mom's milk? I think that's an appropriate question to ask. Hey, my mom doesn't have a lot of milk, but I still want milk. So can I drink your mom's milk? And oh, wait, hold on. Can you clip certain things? Save highlights. Oh, you can save highlights? Up to the last 5 minutes. Oh, wow. Okay. So I just saved something. I don't know whether or not that's going to work. Okay, mom's milk is still natural. So, like, because some mothers don't have milk, right? But let's just say the other mom just had a kid too, and it had abundance of breast milk, would it be? It'd still be okay, right? Because it's not your mother, but it's still milk. That's where my logic is coming from. Anyways, if you think I'm weird, um, stop that thought. No, continue thinking that. That's okay. Be more weird, Mitchell. Be more weird. Okay, there are moms who give the other who can't produce milk. Okay, but my question is that still vegan? I think it is. I really think it is. Is this a stupid question? I don't think it is. I'm really curious. This is where I just dig into my own rabbit hole and I just keep. Okay, even that's still the same species. Okay, okay, it makes sense. Okay, cool. And I wouldn't think it's good because different nutrients. That's why I created formulas. I don't think formula is really that good for you. I mean, it's your own mom, right? So yeah, but if you don't have it, of course, a substitute is necessary because you still need to survive, right? But um, anyways, yeah, I think this is the longest YouTube live I had. Well, one of the longest YouTube lives I've had. Um, Mom is the best milk. Yeah. You think a mom would be upset that like my baby's drinking another mom's tits? Fuck that titty. I'm sorry. I'm just she just gets mad. It's like I can't have milk, so my kid can't have other milks. There's no stupid question. This is valid. I know. Oh no, I was just joking. But thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for tonight, Mitchell. I'm going to bed. Good night. Yeah, I'm going to end this too. This is it's been very long, but I appreciate everyone staying. Mother milk has been shown to have better brain and building functions for babies. And hugs, hug your kids. Hug your kids. So, all right. Well, anyways, thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate it. I know this at the end of the show, this was just a hangout, but just hanging out right now. Anyways, the topic was, what is the strongest course of action? And if you stayed as long as you did, I really do appreciate it. But until next time, I will see you guys on Saturday. And yeah, we will talk about something else. Actually, no. This Friday, I'm going to be going on Instagram Live. So this Friday, 6:30 p.m. my time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going live with one of my friends, Bonnie, to talk about. She wanted to ask what is love, and yeah, pillow milk. But yeah, she wanted to ask what is love. So I'm going to be talking about that this coming Friday. So if you guys want to stop by, I'm going to post it up too. But I'm just letting you know here. But yeah, I'll be doing that. So yeah, I'll see you on Friday too. Friday and Saturday. All right. All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for staying.